Another very strong example is of a person who's devoted their life to peace too, Jimmy Shilue. Jimmy is the director of the Platform for Dialogue and Peace in Liberia, and for a very long time Interpeace has been working with this organization. Jimmy has been working very hard to help rebuild his country. It's much more than just a job for him. It really is a moral obligation, and he does this for his children too, because he's promised his children that he would build them a hearth and home where they could all one day live together again. Jimmy, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Bring you greetings from Liberia. And of course, I'm happy to be part of this event. My name is James, but they call me Jimmy because it's easy to remember. Like all of you in this room today, and those of you who are watching TV, or perhaps sitting in your comfort, I want to tell you that I fully support the Geneva Peace Talks. Reason is common. Peace has enormous dividends. What peace can achieve, you can't achieve that through violence. Therefore, as we gather here today to remember and to celebrate this day, we are contributing to world peace. I'd like to share with you my experience in 3 categories. 1 has to do with my national experience, 2 on a regional level, and 3 on the continental or perhaps international level. I come from a country called Liberia. My country disintegrated into war in the early 1990s. And of course, like anybody, when the war occurred, I was in my early 20s. Yes, I have my kid, I have my parents, but they were murdered and had to flee my country. And of course, went to the neighboring country called Sierra Leone, where I sought refuge without my family and my children. In Sierra Leone, I began to do what I think I could to help contribute to regional peace. Why? Because it was important. Not because I never had my children with me. That does not mean I should relinquish my inherent and moral responsibility to make the world a peaceful place. I decided to work with children who were also refugees. I'm talking about traumatized children, teaching and helping them to have some hope. Under the circumstance, I saw myself as trying to make a contribution to the world because I realized by contributing to making young children, traumatized children, have some sense of worth and remembering that the war is just what we all make it, I thought I was making peace for the world, for my region, and for the international community. I always like to reflect on this question when I was asked what peace means to me. The late Matthew Stepanek, who said, and I quote, "Peace is the choices that we make in the moment and condition we find ourselves." Indeed, my understanding of peace is punctuated by my life experience from one country to another, from one universe to another. I'd like to share with you briefly my personal experience, like I said. The war in my country, 250,000 people got killed. It was quite enough for me in my young teenage at that time to take guns, like others who felt that revenging those who kill your loved one was a way to get genuine peace. Rather, I did not choose that direction. I decided to become a refugee. Why? Because I felt that fighting back was not going to solve the problem. And because I found myself in Sierra Leone, helping other children and helping the region to have peace, I felt like being able to forgive those who offended me. My definition then for peace at that time was giving away the situation and forgiving those who offended you and trying to muster the courage to give another person the chance to live. I then have another experience which has to do with the international element. And for this, it's understood within the African context. Within Africa and in some of our communities, we say the upbringing of a child is the collective responsibility of the entire village. So again, I carry that as part of me as being my brother's keeper. I work with different people, and of course in Sierra Leone, the war in Liberia spilled over, and of course Liberians were being prosecuted as being potential rebels. Even though I myself was a rebel, a victim of a rebel onslaught in my country, but because of my identity, my nationality, I was then seen as a rebel in another country. What could I do? Faced with hardship, death, threat, and everything, I escaped and managed to find myself in the country called the Netherlands. I was received in Netherlands, given my own connection with Amnesty International, and of course with the help of Dutch Red Cross Society, and indeed a little bit of understanding the culture, the norms of the country, then accepted to work. Again, my understanding of peace is recognizing and respecting cultural norms and allowing yourself to start anew. Peace for me has relative understanding depending on the condition you find yourself, as the late Matthew Stepanek said. Because of my time, I wouldn't go too far. Having the chance to live in the Netherlands as a transnational person, I had the opportunity to go back to work in my country because I still feel I need to bring peace back to the war. And to let my children know that not because you have the comfort of living in a very privileged society, you can't help others to live. I went back to work. Thanks to Interpeace for giving me the opportunity. 7 years ago, I was the country director for Interpeace. And then the first era I was asked to go and carry on my job was an era that is being considered a slaughterhouse of people of my ethnicity. Obviously, I had a choice to make. Should I go back to the Netherlands, or I should remain with the United States Institute for Peace, where I was serving as researcher for George Washington University research project? I chose to take the latter because I felt that I want to do something challenging. I worked in that era that considered to be a slaughterhouse, and I identified one youth who was being seen as a former child soldier, trained him and made him a member of my team. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to inform you that because of the fact we used a participatory research method, we were able to recruit people from diverse backgrounds, ethnic background, and social background. Even some of those who were being considered as spoilers were being recruited because the PAR approach emphasizes inclusiveness, locally driven activities, and recognition of cultural and gender diversity. With the recruitment of that little boy, I managed to transform him, and today I'm pleased to tell you he has been appointed by the president of Liberia as a city mayor of a city called Ganta City. That's peace. Leaving those who offended you, helping to work with them and transforming them to become better persons. And because of time, I will share with you my final version of peace. My understanding of peace, I would say, is being able to confront what you have confronted with, but not using violence, accepting what had happened to you and transforming the lives of others so we can live in a peaceful and happy world. Thank you so much.